adventure, some bound in chains, through battles waged and fought, through victory and pain, by test of their courage, our freedom was gained. In homage to those gone before us, the heroes of lands in the sun, we vow to join hands and to focus on building one Caribbean. Raise your voices high. Sing
Welcome brothers, welcome sisters, welcome to our program On Target. As usual, as soon as we start this program, you immediately could pick up the telephone and give us a call. We never have a subject matter. We speak about anything. Politics, religion, socio-economic issues trending, but you too can introduce your own subject matter. We take calls. We will stop in the middle of a sentence and take your call. We believe that what you have to say is much more important than our rambling. Well, today is Thursday in the octave of Easter. You know, Easter is a season. It goes on right on to Pentecost. And what is going on the international stage? What happens in other parts of the world affect us in the Caribbean, affect us in Grenada. We're not living in isolation. And all people must start to understand that. We have a war in Ukraine. Russia invaded Ukraine, a sovereign country. Russia didn't like the closeness, the coziness between Europe and Ukraine. So they decided to invade Ukraine. Russia is a world power, nuclear power. Ukraine can beat Russia. But like everything else, NATO and the United States of America decide to back Ukraine. And if they back Ukraine, they say, well, we cannot afford to lose this war. And Russia says we cannot afford to lose the war. So when elephant fighting is a ground that is pay for it. So I think Ukraine will be massacred, slaughtered, and millions of people in Ukraine will be killed. Russia, Putin, will fall in the same category like Adolf Hitler and the butcher of the Congo. The biggest winner in this thing, I believe, is China. China is smiling. China is going to be the winner. And then Africa would be the playground of the world leaders. I thought that was a glorious and good opportunity for Africa to be the broker, to be the one who lead the negotiation for peace between Russia and Ukraine and NATO and the United States of America. But like everything else, Africa decided to take sides and not to work together. Africa misses every opportunity to take an opportunity. Every developed country in the world is interested in Africa. NATO, Europe, Russia, Iran, Israel, India, China. Everybody knows the value of Africa besides Africa. The Caribbean will also be affected as a result of that war. Caribbean leaders have to be tactful. You have to be diplomatic. Sometimes you can't call a spade if everybody calling it a shovel, or if it is in your economic interest to call it a shovel. This is not about what is right and what is wrong. It is wrong to invade an independent, sovereign country. But this is geopolitics. Grenada have to remember that the majority of our people in the diaspora are not in Russia. They're not in China. We also have to remember we live in America backbone. And our people are more likely, they like America more. Even hardline communists in Grenada, they take rescue in America after America invaded Grenada. It is practically an irony. It's ironical. It's like a paradox. It's a strange thing. After Grenada hardline communists was jailing people for being CIA agents, when they get the first opportunity they get, after the Americans invaded Grenada, they go to America. They never go for rescue in Cuba. They never go for rescue in the communist black countries. All of them wanted to go to America. And I guess because of freedom, freedom of speech, freedom of expression. So you could curse America and stay in America. You can't curse Russia. You will end up in jail. You can't curse Iran. You're going to end up in jail. If you try to take it out of China, you're going to end up like the Uja people. But in Grenada here, you have freedom of expression. Somebody call me and tell me which leader in Grenada that supports freedom of the press the most. You see, in Eric Gary days, we had one radio station. And the revolutionaries always accused Gary of trying to stifle the press. And when the revolution overthrew the government, they lock up all those who had an inclination to freedom, including Tillman Thomas, Leslie Pierre, Kenny Larson, Lloyd Noel. They locked them up in jail. These people believe in freedom of the press. Welcome, Punch.
Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother.
How everything?
Great, man.
Yeah, what I know is living in Grenada for many years, the government that give more freedom to people, to the Grenadian people to call and criticize them, is this government. It's NMP government. We have about 30 radio stations. They give license to operate. And even some of them that are operating anti-government. But when you look at it, we are all agreeing that. We are all agreeing that. I say, for instance, about freedom of speech, this government, no government could compare with this government for the license that they give radio station to open, to voice the opinion. I want to say again to Mr. Pierre, come this Sunday, in St. Patrick West and St. Patrick East, the NMP party will be launching these two candidates, Mr. Victor Philip and Pamela Moses. These two candidates, I know them very, very well. Even especially Mr. Philip, his mom and his mother, I know them very well. Very well. Very wonderful candidates, very lovely people. And these are the people that you want to be candidates, people that care and love people. Not only people that come into politics, want to get into politics and show that they care as they get into politics. I mean, somebody always say, sometimes, like, when you're sick, right, when the person gets sick, you know them taking medication, the other person who doesn't end up taking the medication for the person's sickness. As we say, when America gets cold, we sneeze. And look at the war that's fighting Ukraine, between Ukraine and Russia. Look at the distance, but we have to understand the situation in Russia and between Russia and Ukraine. With oil, the wheat, this is the major two countries that produce this thing. And what happened because of that? Price of things, food price gone up, oil price gone up. So I want Ghanaian people to know that the price of the food are going up and gas. We're going to have nothing to do with any government.
What?
Where is the place?
What Victor Philip was involved in? It's a name man don't know much. What
Yeah,
he was involved in before?
Organizing basketball competition, I can think.
He was involved in basketball competition?
Yeah. The sympathy basketball competition he organized. He used to organize that.
Was he involved in politics before?
Well, he used to be along with NMP, there I'll be involved in politics. Yes, he involved in politics before. Alright, because I always see whenever NMP I'll be up there, I'll be present, he'll be there and things.
So he was actively involved?
Yeah, actively involved.
Okay. So what I want you to know, if he is a complete stranger to politics.
No. Because whenever I always see him present there up front. Because I think he was the chairman of the, when Mr. Boson was there, he was the chairman for the Senate executive. So you're involved in politics.
I'm always concerned about that, you know. I always like it when individuals who want to put themselves up for running for election was involved in the politics before.
Exactly.
If you 18, 19, 20 years is right. But when you're an adult, I always want to know why you end up in this politics. Is it something that you was involved before, or you get a dream?
Yeah.
And then you're coming.
You get a dream overnight, last night, when I sleep last night.
And you get a dream.
I get a dream while I lie in bed.
Sometimes I say it's rum you drink and you dream. You don't pay attention to this spontaneous, reactive dreaming. Yes, thank you, Colin.
And Mr. Pierre, again, what else I always say, okay, because you can never tell what could happen because what you don't plan for. Alright? And at the time, like you may say, I don't really want to get politics, but not time, because people say of what you continue to do for the village or the community around, where you start to try to reach out and help people. When you get into when that time comes and you want to get yourself involved in politics, you are right, people already know you. They know what you stand for. I know that you are someone that already reach out and help people in the community. Alright, so when you get into politics now, someone and your opponent want to come and try to say things about you, the people in the community could stand and defend you and say, I know Mr. Philip, I know Mr. John. Mr. John was someone that always used to involve in community development work, always trying to help the poor and needy in the constituency. So there was someone who just come in and trying to say things about them. Right? The people could stand and defend them. But when you just come in and people don't know you, what they could defend when they don't know you. So, Mr. Pierre, have a blessing.
Yes, thank you. I am always encouraging individuals not to abandon your community. Get involved in your community. You might have the education, you have experience, you have some training in psychology, in management. Impact it in the community. Join the groups in the community. Don't just be an innocent bystander and sit in your veranda and criticize. An activity going out, go out. Sometimes somebody want to sell a barbecue ticket for you. You could easily give them the $10 and never even bother with a barbecue. But you want your presence felt because it's a community activity or a school activity. So you want to go on the site. Even if you're not eating barbecue, when you reach there, you could give somebody the ticket. But your presence help in the community. If we want to change our community, our better educated people, our success story, our professionals ought to be involved in the community. So, yes, you involve in politics. It's not party politics or you putting up yourself to run for election, but it's the village politics because it involves in the policies and changes and development of the village. We have some communities in Grenada that have always been described as the lower socio-economic strata. Some communities, again, you always have some chronic antisocial and acts of violence. But if you take some research into the community, some of these problems is simply because the success story of the community abscond the community. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome.
Yeah, Mr. Pierre, good day.
Yes, my brother.
Yeah. I was listening to a program on the internet with Karisha and Jenny. And when the time of the rally, they were doing some comparable with the rally there. Jenny was saying, well, look, Pierre was energetic crowd. And Karisha was saying that NDC had an intellectual crowd. And to me, I feel offended by that. Because both parties have people with doctorate, and if you look at NP, have more people with doctorate than the NDC. NP have people with degree, but not have people with degree. Look at the man who came first in the Caribbean in exam. Right, that is the girl from Victoria. Akimane. She NP said. So I feel you're making them feel offended by that saying that they are an intellectual crowd. I don't know how she assesses that, and I don't know what she asks you to measure that, but I just feel kind of offended by that. So you have like all who supporting NP stupidity. That what they're trying to say. Because she used that on TV and saying about they are NC crowd like intellectual crowd, so that means they didn't get in on job because they are intellectual crowd. I feel kind of offended by that. They have to do better than that. They don't do it because there are a lot of bright people in there. I know people, a lot of people with doctorate supporting NC and associate a master degree and things. So they cannot use that term to be little people. So it's up here, you take care.
Yes, my brother, and it's important that sometimes you identify these things. I'm saying nothing is wrong with that because that is the philosophy of the political party. The party believe they are the brightest thing since sliced bread. And they continue to propagate that view in the philosophy of the party. They're smart, they're intelligent, they're bright. And anybody who do not support them, they're stupid. Sometimes it's laughable, but that is what I see. The National Democratic Congress, one of the biggest challenges they have is to rearrange their philosophy, because the perception outside is that they do not seek the interests of the ordinary man. And every time some of the political activists or journalists that is associated with them open their mouth, they want to reinforce the view that the NDC is crowded with intellectuals. And people who support the other political party don't have much sense, or they're stupid. And that is why they consider them as eater food people, needy and greedy. And now they have even added some older folks and the old guards and all sort of unnecessary classification to describe Grenadians. I don't know. I don't know when this political party is going to understand. What you're speaking about is Grenadians. And people vote political parties for a plethora of reasons. Why political parties always trying to pump up the crowd? Because some people don't like to lose. They don't vote lose inside. Some people vote because of personalities. So that's when you're selecting somebody, they have to be some level of winnability. Because they have to make themselves known to the people. Irrespective if they have a briefcase or certificate. It doesn't make no sense in politics. We have seen that time and time again. Most of the politicians in the Caribbean was not the most brilliant genius. There are some people that are intelligent, and as a result of that, they feel they're messing ice cream. They hardly want to talk to people because they're bright. Politics is a different story. But it's difficult to get it out of these people's head that they believe that their political party is crowded with intellectuals. You lose election on 3 occasions. You lose all the seats on 3 occasions. And you still believe nothing is wrong with your philosophy and your strategy. The problem have to be your voters. I come from an era. We have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre.
Yes,
I don't like to call back, eh? But
no problem. You could.
when you listen the attitude, when you listen the attitude of the NDC, right? And how they frame people and how they degrade people. You know something, I'll ask myself a question. Every day we learn something. We learn something. And when you go and play a game of cricket and you fail, it's time for you to go and sit down and reflect where you're going wrong. But even every year, every time election card will get in the 15, and still continue.
Color, all you do is to blame the umpire.
Exactly.
Nothing is wrong with you. The umpire give you out. Nothing is wrong with you. The pitch didn't good. Nothing is wrong with
Exactly.
you. The weather didn't good.
Yeah, and we don't look into ourselves. What we do, what you're doing. I always say NMP is a party of inclusive. They include everybody agreeing that, and the house is open for everyone to come in. But when you see, and the thing that one thing we met them, you say you love people, you care what the poor are needed, right? But you speak about like you are the bright set of people, you are the this and that. So then what you are saying now you don't need the poor people, you don't need the poor people. But then the same poor people saying that you call them don't stupid kind of things. You tell them you will make them permanent. So now you say something, but afterwards you still come back and degrading the same people that say you care and you love. You say one thing, right? If what you go do, if ever you get rid of all the poor people working and provide job for all the rich people, because you think a rich man go and work under a rich man? No, the same other people you want to work with you, and the same people who call them poor, green and needed, is the one who will put money into your hand. So you have to, we're all Grenadians, and everyone needs their life to develop. And I always say a government is a government for all. A government for all. When they do something good, it benefits all. So I always say to people, yes, you will forgive, but remember what people say, what people call. Right? Because nothing that man might do something, might bust your head. But you see that man, but you might not have any ill feelings against that person. But that whenever you see that man, you will remember what the man did to you. But you don't want to do back any harm to the person.
Yes,
so, right? So I want to say to Granian, you have some talk on one side more they speak love, and they speak hate on the other side. Right? Love should always speak in forever. When you speak love from your mouth and your heart means something else. So
thank you, Colin.
So how about this?
I think one of the challenges, and I take some objection to that, because it affects Grenada as a whole. So I take objection to that. The party have to look at the philosophy. I constantly say that nothing is wrong with Grenadians. All of us love Grenada. Although people say these people love one another, but everybody loves Grenada. Everybody wants to see Grenada good. But you have to look at your philosophy. You're speaking about Grenadians. There is no need to fracture this country. I listened to individuals who was speaking about weed. I thought this lawyer was the weed czar. And when government introduced in the House for first reading a bill to decriminalize or legalize weed, that this lawyer would have been in the forefront championing the cause of Rastafarians. Instead, I've not heard one word from him. Now we're looking for independence, the independence of a parish. And he doesn't care if they join Australia or I think it's New Zealand. He doesn't care. But he wants them to be independent from Grenada. And sometimes you're wondering, what's wrong with these individuals? The Caribbean trying to work together because we are only about 7 million people. And if you function in a block, it's better. CARICOM took a common position vis-a-vis the issues in Venezuela. CARICOM took a common position vis-a-vis COVID-19. It seems that CARICOM is trying to take a common position in the conflict in Ukraine. But individuals want to fracture within the parish. You cannot continue to try to split Grenadians based upon social status. You know, and it's difficult, and as long as the party don't get that correct, I believe there will be a serious challenge to make much sense in Grenada. But the number to call is 442-0175, and we can always discuss that. I remember in the days, in the 70s, it was sung in it made us very angry when people refer to us as stinking dayrates. Illiterates we could have tolerated. Caller, punch. Yes, caller, welcome, punch.
I want to remind the people of Sunday, the launching of the two candidates, St. Patrick East and West, and big motorcade right along the...
What is the name of these candidates?
Pardon me?
What is the name of the candidates?
Mr. Victor Philip for the West. Mr. Victor Bello Philip, you know, he's known as Bello. And Mrs. Pamela Moses for St. Patrick East. These two people will be launching. As I call them earlier, these two people will be a force to reckon with.
Well, tell me something. I happen to know Pamela Moses. She was a principal of a school. Tell me something about Victor.
Victor also a school teacher, but I think he retired now.
But he must be retired if he's a candidate for politics.
He teaches in CC. Victor, I want to thank the Prime Minister for accepting that nomination, because I believe he's a balanced person. He knows the struggle. He's a grassroots man. He knows about being on the block. That's how he grew up. So I think he could be a good fitted person area, because he knows struggle. He know grassroots life. I believe he's a guy who he used to move around. As we say, he used to move around and socialize with most of the guys know him that way. So he's not a very selfish person. So I think it's the first time he's good. The Honorable Anthony Boston has laid a foundation, and he will continue on that foundation. So the people of St. Patrick West, areas who did not get their fair share, they still will get it, because the work will continue. So a lot of people have to worry. If Mr. Boston call it a day, and he sees fit that he don't want to offer himself for, the work will continue, because it's already started. There are people around. He was around last election, and he knows what started.
What he was doing, what he was involved in last election?
Last election, he was able to help manage the campaign.
He was the manager of Boston campaign?
Yeah, he helped manage Boston campaign in 2018.
Okay.
I was there with him.
So he's no stranger to the political ground?
Campaign. So he's no stranger to the constituency. He's no stranger to the groundwork. So I believe when the party accepts the nomination, when Mr. Boston made the recommendation, I believe was not a bad move. And we expect the people to show their support and let St. Patrick West remain in the house of the new National Party.
Okay.
I just came from Sates, and I saw how many people saying how much they happy for a school allowance. That could help them to buy something for the children on Monday. And I know you have other activists on the other side who are against it. But that's a very good program beside the e-money instituted by the new National Party, helping parents to help buy a little school bag and a little I don't see nothing wrong with that. But you have people who feel that is encouraging the ladies to make children. I don't know how you see that.
Well, I believe we should be not making enough children in Grenada. Thank you, Colin. Thank you very much. Well, when you speak about children, the population in Grenada have not risen in any significant way in the last 70 years. And that is one of the challenges we have. We need more children in Grenada. And I don't think Grenada women could make the amount of children we need. So I'm one of the individuals who advocating government become, as a policy, free up immigration. So we have some Venezuelans and Haitians and Africans. Yes, caller, welcome. Punch.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, my brother.
Yeah, well, based on the topic you're on this evening, afternoon, sorry, I should say, I had to share that piece of it. Considering the way the next fraction of the opposition party style a lot of people who were being assisted by government, it's rather saddening to know that the government is stretching a hand to people that definitely can't really make it to the extent. I think that is the duty of any government, to look after its people. Not just to keep them home, sit down, but people that definitely cannot help themselves. There's people that just home in different conditions that need assistance, they need help, and the government is doing just that. And you see it like the government is doing things to keep you in poverty. And I find that it's an unfair statement to make. If you've been, there is somebody I know is around 80 years now. The person is about 80 years. And that person must have lived within all governments that exist already. They must have known all governments that exist because 80 years now. And the person was unfortunate that they didn't have proper facilities in them to really govern themselves properly. But now they are 80 years, so they really cannot move as they would like to.
When you say proper facilities, what do you mean? The chair, the kitchen?
Yeah, I would say like the bathroom and toilet.
The toilets?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the government now would step in and see fit to help someone like that. And you know, the opposition seeing it as something that the government is giving people a bad habit. People are supposed to get what is the convenient. And instead of they looking to pay the pension, these are the kind of money they have to stop spending so the people will be able to get a pension. You know, when you make a statement like that, you makes me wonder, if you should form a government, what would be the case with people that just cannot help themselves, You make me frightened. You don't make a statement like that. The government helping somebody that just cannot help themselves. And there is a few people well enough that government need to stretch out their hands to, because there is quite a lot of unfortunate people that just cannot make it. And if the government is doing such like that, that's the rule of applaud it and ask the government to still do something much better, because there is some people out there that need to be helped. Because these people have made contribution before, They had done a lot. They worked in estates, they work here, they work there. But it just happened that they couldn't make it to the extent that they should be having this kind of facilities in their possession to move as they would like to at this age. And if the government is doing it now, why you cry on the government and try to belittle the people and make them feel like them is nobody? These people have children, they have grandchildren, they have great-grand. You're looking for political support. Would the grand and the great-grand from these people family listen you make this kind of statement and go and show the support behind you? Would they ever think of doing that? Or would you ever be able to be in your political base?
You see, caller, some people believe that the poor is poor because they're lazy. Some people believe that you shouldn't help the poor. Some people believe that you go to school and you didn't get an education, so you are to be blamed. And they are successful and they don't feel obligated to help you. Now, if a party have this philosophy, remember we're in a democratic country, and if a party believe that the people poor because they're lazy or they have bad attitude or they didn't take the opportunities that are available to them, that is the party's philosophy. It doesn't mean that they're wrong or right. That is their position.
And the next one I want to speak on is the people we say that they need diaspora or wherever they is already. Seems to be want to stay all day and dictate what should happen in Grenada. They will leave Grenada and go.
But again, caller, remember, when Grenadians go away, these are the people we call in the diaspora. Some of them support different political parties. But what we need to do is to encourage the people in the diaspora to help Grenada, irrespective of political parties. These are the people that helped Israel, you know. The Jews away. They don't care which political party in power, they help Israel. So yes, we may disagree with what some of them say, but we have to encourage them. You know?
But I believe that's the way it should go. If you are Grenadian and tell us what it is, you do what you could for your country.
Yeah.
Because remember, your country had done for you as well, you know. Some of us left when we in a middle age, and we go away. We live in Grenada. We had under different conditions, and we live. But when we go, we turn our backs. We didn't really look back to see if Grenada sink or Grenada float. But then after a time, we want to just make decisions that we're not supposed to be able to, because we didn't turn back to see what Grenada was before. And just at a point in time, you want to see something happen to your fancy. You want to dictate that's the way it should be. But if you've been a contributor, not only sending back to people to eat and drink, you know, but sending back in other ways that they could perhaps have a right to say something for your country now, it's okay, you know. But there's some people that they had made it abundantly clear they would never come back to Grenada to live. But they want to stay over there continually and make it this kind of a statement that really keeps the people in a state that really doesn't understand if they should go up or go down. Because, you know, we believe in when they are abroad and they say something, we should go by what they say, because in America, in England, in Canada. And like, you know, we have people that have that kind of concept. We listen to people when they speak from foreign, but they will listen when we speak from here. We are local. We don't really pay much heed to people like that. And I think that's one of the things that are responsible for us in some of this position that we are in as locals, because we really, really go for what it comes from foreign, and that's really what we have right here. We may have the best right here, you know, but all because it is Grenada and it's local, we just doesn't want it.
Yes,
Have
sir.
a good afternoon, boss.
Yes, thank you very mumuch. And this is why our program give you an opportunity to express yourself. We have social media now, and a lot of people who you might not have heard before, and they wanted to speak, but there was no platform. They have the opportunity now. We have to, our democracy, we have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome.
Yeah, Mr. Pierre, how are
Yes,
you?
great man.
Mr. Pierre, if the people of Grenada want to see more trouble than what they say they see now, is to put back NDC in power. They see double trouble.
Why you say that?
Because they have a record, you see.
Yeah,
They have a serious record on their hands.
but as Christian countries, people as strangers get converted and turn to Christian.
Well, NDC can change. They can change. Even they go up, they go down, they can change. They have the same mentality with them. Like they born with that.
What is the mentality you against?
What is the mentality I against?
Yeah, what is the mentality you think that is a little bit negative?
When the NDC there? I'm talking about the NDC when they're in power.
Yeah, when they're in power, what is the negative mentality you think they have?
Well, the last time when they was in power, they seen trouble to pay salary, one. They borrow money from St. Vincent, two, to pay salary. They sell asset while it's not theirs. And we don't want to come back in the same position again. Thank you, Mr. Pierre.
Okay, thank you, my brother. Thank you. Our brothers and sisters in the diaspora have a role to play in Grenada. Grenada is a small country. Tourism is a very important part of our macroeconomic policies. In fact, tourism is bringing in the most money in the economy. St. George's University contributes about 20% of the GDP. Yes, caller, welcome. Welcome, caller, punch. We lost this caller. So, tourism, our image, the image of Grenada is important. We are doing very well in sports. We just had some of our brothers and sisters come up back from Carifta game. So, image is an important thing. So, our brothers and sisters in the diaspora is important for us. They themselves want to hear good things about Grenada. I think one of the challenges, we have a call on the line. Caller, welcome.
Yes, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, go
How
ahead.
you do? You good?
Yes, my brother, welcome.
Right. Mr. Pierre, just listen something here. Right. We talk about, okay, agriculture is no way, and agriculture is dumb, and agriculture, and nobody interested in agriculture.
Go ahead, caller. Caller, what up? We get you off. You seem to cut off. If you're there, please speak.
But listen, but Mr. Pierre, we pay homage to sports.
Don't listen to your radio in the background.
Okay,
Otherwise, it's delayed, you know.
All right,
So you either load on the radio and just speak.
All right. Okay. That's better.
Yeah.
Right. Now listen.
The WhatsApp number is 442-0175.
Right, but listen, people, right, we pay homage to sports and to sportsmen and women. Look, we built a big stadium. No, I'm not saying this. I'm not saying this is wrong in no stretch of imagination, right? But look, Mr. Pierre, the people who break the back, right, to feed the nation, right? From since day one, we pay. We pay little. We don't recognize.
Which people you don't recognize?
I'm talking about the farmers.
You don't feel we give enough recognition to the farmers in Grenada?
No.
What kind of thing? What recognition? You see, it is important to find out what you would like to see.
Okay, what I'm saying.
What you would like to see. We lost the caller slightly again. So the caller feels that Grenadian farmers is not getting enough recognition. So my question is, what recognition you would like to see? Government has provided concession for farmers, labor support for farmers. The network of roads in this country is the best network in the region, and the roads are relatively good. Plants are being subsidized. Extension officers are provided. From time to time, you have farmers are emulated. But sometimes it is important to know what recognition you would like to see. So caller, we lost you, but please call back and try to tell us 1 or 2 or 3 things that you would like to see the government do. I always take this approach because it makes no sense criticizing me if you don't come up with another option. Yes, caller, welcome.
Afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother, welcome.
And also to the listening public. First and foremost, I was very much surprised to hear Mr. Jocelyn Whiteman. I was consider him as a statesman. To hear that man running down Prime Minister Mitchell, using words of false and misleading statements to support elements of the so-called NDCites, labeling the PM as a doing nothing Prime Minister, using those hot buttons, lies to debunk the government, saying the government does nothing. That's all. It's a nothing government and things I would even say. Those lies does not help Grenada. They're running down the country. The government does not work. Sophisticated, misleading lies for the world to look at us as a country that is worse than hell. A country that is ruled by a dictator. These sophisticated lies are false and tactics to mislead us to believe. For them right now, to make us believe right now, the opposition elements know clearly well that the bingo numbers is waiting on them. So all they can do now is to create confusion. The fact is, yes, no, they're trying to get rid of the Prime Minister. All set of things has been said. Character assassination is tried time and time against the PM by both local and foreign elements to make us believe that the PM is a dictator. Right now the campaign is on now. Sophisticated techniques are used now to try to unseat the government. This time it will be more glorious victory. The truth is as impossible to be styled by any outward touch as the sunbeam. Lies would not help them. Time will tell. Thank you, Sir Pierre.
Thank you, caller. And the number to call is 442-0175. And our brother Colin Francis, the United States. Good point, caller and Pierre, about NDC slant towards elitist intellectualism. They must be careful about the perception that they might be inadvertently creating. The Republican Party does the same thing in America. The GNP created a similar perception in the early days against Gary's Gulf. This was one of the reasons that they had a very difficult time getting the support of the regular working class. Then intellectual persons doesn't always necessarily make smart and successful politicians. We have a caller on the line, caller Punch.
Hi, good afternoon.
Yes, my caller, go right ahead.
Very, very informative program. I want to applaud you on that because there is a lot of people in Grenada, Carriacou, Petit Martinique, and in
Raise your voice a little for us.
Needs to listen to real programs like
Raise your voice a little
where
for
the
us.
truth is being told. Huh?
Raise your voice a little. We hardly hear you.
Oh, yes. What I'm saying is the program that you're doing is very innovative and edifying.
Thank you, caller. Don't listen to your radio. Just speak. Yeah.
No. I don't have a radio. I'm calling from the diaspora.
Okay, thank you.
And when I listen to persons calling in from Grenada, who are elements of the opposition, saying so much negatives, it leads me to wonder which part of Grenada they're living, and what age they're living in, whether they're still living in the Stone Age. Because these persons, I don't know if they have television, if they have radio. Even the blind could know that there are some elements, or there's a lot of development in Grenada for everyone. And those who do not choose to access those development is because they are just element of the operative or opposition, I should say, and they just don't want to be a part of it. And they come and criticize the government. And if you ask them to be a part of any development, they have not contributed. They are not taking an initiative or a role in nation building. So might as well they just go on Hog Island and leave for themselves, or Sandy Island is probably too small for them, because this is really ridiculous. When persons look to criticize a government, they are part of a nation. I don't know what they expect outsiders or foreigners to think about our country, because they're talking so much about foreigners coming and doing so much things to local people, and half of the stories are not even true. And if it is really happening, it's because they allow it to happen, because of how they bring themselves. You know someone by the words that come out of their mouth, the things that they do, and the action is loud and is out there to see. So people in Grenada need to have a change in mindset. The mindset needs to be changed and stop all this warmongering and all the propaganda they're trying to spread about the government. We all make up part of the government. The government is not just the few elective members that you put into office to run the administration of different ministries or different sectors of the country. These all of us, we have to come collectively together to ensure that is effective, things are run effectively. And if you're going to sit back and say you're not supporting the government, and you're not taking part in nothing that is going on in the country, how you expect things to go smooth, where you want your voices to be heard? But basically, I mean, I visited Grenada 2 weeks ago, and when I look at things open-mindedly, I was not there because of political reasons, and I try to be the difference, and that's what every human being should be in this world: be the difference. Make their mark in whatever way possible they could make it. And I look at education. I used to be a teacher before, and I look and I see education is on a high in Grenada. Over 80% of school has either been repaired or upgraded. in health, you see a lot of smart clinics and smart hospitals being built in Grenada. These are things that we don't know about. We know about it in the first world country, but we have not seen it in Grenada, and it's now coming to fruition. We're seeing it happening there, so we know definitely we are up in speed in terms of our healthcare as well. We are not there 100%. No one is perfect. Just so no government is perfect, but they are trying. The persons who are there right now are trying. Tourism have take off in leaps and bounds with new initiative for hoteliers, training in tourism. You have more persons going out to work on cruise ship and so on as compared to the past. How many persons were brought home during COVID time? Government provided initiative to bring them back home to ensure that they're with their family and that they are safe and they are accounted for. You saw more housing. You saw in so many areas in St. David's, you have new housing projects have been completed there. In St. Andrews, we saw some in St. Patrick's, we saw some also in Carriacou. These are you talking about hundreds of houses provided for Grenadians? We have a growing population and the needs are being met in housing. We saw social programs coming on stream like the Empower, the program for youths. We saw Imani programs being upgraded in terms of the salary and so on, and persons are graduated and step up to a different level where they can serve. And persons are so excited. I mean, this is an exciting time for Grenada, and Grenadians need not to gamble with the future.
All right, thank you, Colin.
I hope that they look carefully and select a government that can take them to the next level. I know someone might be disgruntled, but please, families have issues just the same way. Give them not a chance, but give them that opportunity to prove themselves. It's a government that has been tried, tested, and continue to deliver. And I would ask every Grenadian in the right mind, dig their heart and dig their soul deep before you go to bed tonight and think about it. Haven't this government been doing anything? Well, if they haven't been doing anything, if they say no, then definitely the soul is not with the body. So they really need to search their soul and see and be honest. And give this government, the new National Party government, a chance to continue to take Grenada forward. Walk along with the government. That's the only way we can achieve it. We see it happening in Cuba. People talk a lot of stuff about Castro. Castro was communism, but we are in a democratic country where you have a right to take part in every process and any process that entails their development. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Colin. And the fact is that the Grenada have one of the best primary healthcare program in the Caribbean. What you need to do is to Google these things and ask. There are some truths that we must establish and recognize. And we're running down to time, but we have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome.
Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother, welcome.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah.
Yes. Calling on those in authority to adjust the cost of living in Grenada. Because Grenada too small for that. When you go in the shop and buy a 2-piece item, it coming up over $30-something. Even hot spot, what used to sell the cheapest now, you will find you going by them and the things and them there. I was telling them about it the other day. Well, I can buy a piece of cheese and they're telling me how to tell the Prime Minister about it. Well, it seems to be like he don't even have no price controller down here too. Because the price, some shopkeepers realize that the cost of the
price of cheese the price of cheese would have dropped because they removed VAT on it.
It dropped and they're selling it so dear. Cheese really expensive. When you go in the supermarket, Mr. Pierre, little piece of cheese I see for 12 something. You are well, if it drop, well, I don't know.
Well, you buy about a pound of cheese?
No.
Not you buy about a whole pound?
I tell you about a quarter pound cheese, Mr.
For $12?
Half pound, let me say half pound cheese.
But it is a fact.
It's too dear, man.
It is a fact that the economic situation, because of a number of factors, you'll have increase in price. Shoppers have to shop smart now. You have to be careful what you eat.
Cost of living when you head hot, you Mr. Pierre. and you say you're going in the shop and buy 2 Panadol symptoms. Some of them shops selling it for 250 something, some selling it for 3 something. That is the advantage, man, the shopkeepers, and then some of them they selling how they want and them thing, and like you don't have no price controller checking them, so they just doing what they want. Cost of living in Grenada too high for that, man. Grenada too small for that. I mean to say cost of living in Grenada is the highest in the world, man. It's a shame.
Caller.
Yeah.
What you need to start to do is to look at local products that we grow in Grenada. Look at the price, compare with products that we import. Because if we are importing, there's a war in Ukraine and Russia. 30% of the grain in the world is produced by these countries. And you have shipping clog up. So Grenadians have to be prepared for higher prices.
Yeah, man, they could do something to that.
What you suggest government should do?
Everything.
What you suggest should be done?
Everything they're trying to put it on the and them kind of thing. You have things that are coming out, things like Panadol symptom and things are coming out way in Ukraine and them thing and then coming out in the Caribbean and them thing and them there.
All right, thank you, caller. Thank you very much.
Cost of living in Grenada is the highest in the world, Mr. Pierre.
All right, thank you very much. We have room for one other caller just before we close. Remember, today is Thursday in the octave of Easter. Easter goes on right unto Pentecost. And Grenadians have to brace themselves because the war in Ukraine could take a turn for the worse. I believe that Russia would mash up Ukraine, massacre millions of people, and nobody seems to want peace. The West don't want peace, Russia don't want peace, China believe they could benefit from it, so they don't want peace, and later on maybe we might be fighting for Africa. In this process, Grenadians have to prepare to be more competitive on the job market, and we have to prepare to invest in our economy. We have to be more competitive on the market. And I always ask, when the people of God going to open some swim clubs? We should have 3 or 4 swim clubs in Guave. Guave is a fishing community. We must reflect that. The time has come for the people of Guave to have 4 or 5 swim clubs and start to lobby that swimming should be a part of intercol and school sports. And you can have more water sports in Guave. This is one of the ways to keep young men intact. They have energy. Let us redirect this energy. The intelligent people, the lawyers, the doctors, the public officers, senior policemen, help the people of Guave open some swim clubs and let our children learn to swim. And we're back with you again next week between 12 and 1 for another program of On Target.